Hello and welcome. This is Diana, and you are watching Holistic Vibes. This is going to be a general reading, so just take what resonates, leave the rest. Obviously, the energy's been like kind of wild, and there's been like, it almost feels like there's this last little bit of like residue that's being kicked off so that you can truly like speak your truth and stand into like what you want to see within your reality. It's kind of like it's taking off like an old layer of like protection or an old layer of like limiting beliefs. Mm, Kind of like the wishes, hopes, desires that you've put into your soul's song, right? Like if there are things that you've been holding back on, but like they're really hopes and dreams that you've always wanted. It's kind of like there's some kind of a layer that is going to be peeled or released like today that's going to give you some kind of it's a courage or like this access point for you to truly like see what's on your mind, like you're stemming out of your own hibernation. It's kind of like being under like a fog or like a mist or like a perception, right? It's like all of a sudden you're activating like everything that you've been kind of holding back on your own mission, however that looks like for you, right? But you're now stepping into the what you truly believe at the core of your soul, right? And like no longer are you allowing like these barriers of disbelief or limitation. Yeah, between now and like the full moon, um like you're going to be, yeah, there's something that is going to release into like your actual fortune. It's like there's some kind of a gate that is opening for you that's taking you from a 7 to a 9 of cups. It's kind of like you're understanding the law of like multiplicity. I don't even know if that's a word, right? There's something in the foundation of your root chakra that you're kind of rebirthing. It's like reactivating your heart-centered frequency, no longer being in a state of the foundational wounds that have been your current operating system. It's kind of like you're understanding threads of connection and like how you falsely have taken on a persona or a perspective that was not yours. And it's like I saw Chamiel earlier and I should have just grabbed him. And it says, no one crosses your path by chance. And it's also coming into that understanding of the, like God put this on my heart, like I'd say probably about 2 years ago. And it was like, forgive them for they know not what they do, right? And it maybe your psychic gifts are coming online and that's why they're bringing this up, right? It's understanding your own internal, mm, they said psychopathy. Again, that's something maybe you want to explore or that you're playing with, or the understanding of being a receiver and being a projector or a tower, and understanding the laws of the universe, or yeah, universal laws, universal frequencies. They're just showing me alignment patterns, and synchronicities, and like understanding that you are what you attract, and where you're vibrating at now is where you were vibrating, and where do you want to vibrate in the future is going to be where you elevate to. And there's a deeper understanding of like cosmic law, cosmic understanding, the wrongs that have been done against you, the hiccups that you've had to endure. Pardon me, it's the understanding the why you've done or what's been done, up until this point, right? And so maybe that's something that you're kind of recontemplating, like as you're aligning with the creator, as you're kind of coming into your own vibrational frequency of like, what do you want the future to look like, right? What are the shares like? And it's again with this bear, it's like what are the old bandages, old wounds, the old impediments, the old agreements that like you've taken on as your own, right? Like you essentially picked up that through your conditional patterns, right? Through the evolution of your family lineage. And so like maybe you're kind of trying to understand how you become victorious of your own pathways, of the seeing the possibilities as your wish, hopes, dreams, as your actual reality that you're currently creating. That like through the mother's alignment, like what is it that you're pulling forward through your heart-centered consciousness, right? Like again, the flowers can grow in the desert. Um, It's in the most unlikeliest places you're going to feel in alignment, like through your happiness, through the honoring of like where you're at right now, what's happened, understanding that there's lessons to be learned through that, and like kind of it's like almost like there's like this reattunement of like of masculine energy, of like confidence within self, again with that lotus, man. And it says lily on it. To me, that's not a lily. I see always the purple lilies when I see lilies, but there's some kind of a cross, like yeah, this is a violet, but still. um there's some kind of attunement of vibrational frequency, and like being in a state of trusting your intuition, and being at a state of like understanding exactly what you need. Yeah, and I love when they do that and they throw something upside down. Yeah, it's through um it's almost like not being scared of where you're collecting, because you know that regardless, like the fish will always be provided for. I don't know. I mean, again, that's the whole multiplying. It's a multiplying. There's some kind of clarity through mm, loyalty. Maybe somebody's like communing with a mountain, or reconnecting in with the animalistic nature within self. It's kind of like reattuning to like your vibrational frequency, as you're kind of recalibrating. I don't know, it's for somebody. You'll know if it resonates, right? What do I need to I don't know, it's really straightforward. It's really like somebody's looking at mm, family lineage, work lack, like wherever there's been hiccups in work and it's been passed forward. It's like there's kind of this clarity, or this shift in foundational understanding. It's there's some kind of a lineage honoring, an honoring of the people that have come before. There's some kind of transmutation that's currently happening. Something having to do with like the toxicity of the planet. It's almost like the areas that are creating the toxicity in the planet will actually see the earth respond to their connection or lack thereof. It's kind of like it's kind of like the understanding of like your pattern recognition of where you've been, how you've been operating, like the things that have happened through your patterns, like the call to sacred spaces. It's kind of like there's a allowing of people to commune with the path that they're supposed to be on. And you know what the thing is like those that are essentially, I don't know, I think this is a collective energy. But those that are attempting to keep in power, they're so worried about the grid gatekeepers that are currently on the planet, right? That are currently teaching techniques or teaching comprehension or understanding how to state into it's a it's a communal vibration is what they're saying. And there is this study that's going to be reactivating or reconnecting or has already in regards to how aligned with nature. It's going to activate good fortune throughout the collective consciousness because there's this they're just showing me the way the Native Americans used to commune with the buffalo, and a buffalo would kind of stand and veer away from the pack, allowing themselves to be caught to feed those that have nurtured the land with mother and with alignment with animals. And again, you're doing this stuff. Like you're understanding like how to align with nature and clear this shift of immutable discernment. It's almost like your what's reality or what's truth has kind of been manipulated currently. And through the connection of the mountain and like communing with the divine and like you honoring your inner masculinity and understanding that you needed they're just seeing rest. They're just saying like it's a state of reflective contemplation. And it's like stepping into the vibrational frequency of love. But just because you are love and light doesn't mean that you don't also wield a sword, right? Like God has placed these angelic armies and angels into particular frequencies to honor universal law, to honor God's truth. They're just saying your psychic gifts are it's wild because they're saying it again. It's like the Bible is a sword. And so when you understand the verses, and I wasn't aware of this, like, but most religions will understand the foundational of the Bible, of Jesus's Bible, right? And those words are essentially swords that can cut through energy through the alignment of your voice, right? Like if you know the word, you're able to essentially separate and sliver demonic lower vibrational frequencies, souls without bodies, those that incarnated that for some reason they stuck behind and now they're deaf, dumb, and blind, right? Like whatever that is for you. They're just saying like there is a honoring in the path that you're coming to the realization of how to work with your own energy, how to work with energy outside of yourself, and how you are coming into your own vocals and the understanding of frequency and power through frequency. And, you know, maybe you are looking at verses, or you're looking at times where spirit had someone up against a wall and God gave them phrases or power in the word to overcome those energies. Why is that coming up? Maybe that's something that you're going through. Maybe you are in a fight spiritually currently. Maybe you're trying to step into your own truth, or maybe you're trying to help others to step into your own truth. It's kind of like you're going to know what best case scenario is going to work for you. But there's some kind of a spawning, some kind of a multiplication, some kind of a stepping into your inner light, into your identification of inner abundance. It's kind of like once you believe it can be, then it can be so. And it's like if there's still resistance, you have to ask yourself, what is that within you that you mimicked or received as you grew up, that you took that on as your pathway or as your truth, right? And like through that clarity or through that transmutation, you're going to truly understand like what you need to do to proceed forward. It's kind of like there's quite a clarity through whatever it is that you're alleviating in. Alleviating in? I don't think that's the right deck. It's either this one or the biblical one, but I'll see this first to see if, I don't know, they just said grab one, but it could have been, oh, okay, so for those of you that have kind of felt like you've been an island, right? Like that you've been entirely alone doing this. Um, you've had to probably be entirely protected, not felt safe, kind of lived in a state of duality, but never seen reciprocity, right? Always was a giver. Um, there's going to be like a connection or like a balancing of that's really going to put you in a state of being in your heart center. Yeah, it's like literally you stepping into like understanding the divine role, right? Even though the role, you could very well be reading Akashic records, you could be kind of understanding the fluidity, and again they're showing me like physics, quantum physics, epigenetics. Activation through like your alignment with your crown, with your honoring of possibly you being a medium, right? Understanding the mind body soul connection, emphasis on soul, and stating the honoring of the begin of the journey, right? As an old soul, it can be very problematic if you are constantly repeating same said lessons, right? Not understanding. It's almost like responding to something before it's even taken place. Like you're jumping ahead of the actions. It's like you're 5 moves ahead of the individual, right? And so, okay, I'm going to close in this and I'm going to leave it there, right? Because they just said it's a heavy burden to bear when like you have a first soul come up to you and say, hey, next week I'm not going to be here, right? They don't say it, but like, wow, that person's like not loving their body, or that person's not loving their environment, or, oh, this is happening, right? And it's a hard burden to bear, to do it with unconditional love and keeping a state of neutrality and allowing an individual to create their own pathway, right? And regardless of what it looks like. Everybody has their own way of coming through a developmental understanding, and that can also be something that you're kind of coming into a state of peace with, right? Because when you are looking at your lineage and you start understanding specifically where someone went awry or where someone repeated a pattern or a cycle, right? If you have like a study of, 5 generations, like you gain a lot more knowledge, and maybe that's something that you're starting to understand the layers of like protection or armor, or a false face, or a different vibrational frequency, or like an honoring of being happy. Like you're kind of understanding all of these different fragmentations where the parents had a knowledge or an understanding, but still chose to pass forward these limiting perspectives, keeping you anchored in a lower paradigm, not being free. It's the reflection of the person you want to become in the next 9 years. It's the how you're moving in your reality, right? How you want your intuition to grow. Because the truth is like you are creating the path every single day that you choose to get up and interact. Like you're making an active process. And so They're showing me the hermit's light, right? The hermit's journey. And like it's the reflectiveness in that, having faith that the doors open right when they're supposed to, after a state of reflectiveness and solitude, right? And there's always a safeguard. It's leaning into not a specific, but leaning into for God's highest and best good, right? To always keep me on my feet and have me living in divine faith, right? Fully protected, fully vested, no longer living in burden and shame, in false narratives, in misconceptions of energetic frequencies, right? Honoring both my light and my dark, honoring my soft and my hard. It's understanding true divinity and duality. And it's no longer marching to like the general populace of like um and the ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. It's the understanding the directions of all energies, consulting your guides, your energies, and honoring the journey up into this point, right? Because there's an alignment with like a highest and best good for the frequency, a highest and best good for your highest alignment. And so it's the sitting in the stillness of the positivity of the reflective energy that you're pulling to in your community. This has got to make sense for somebody, because they wouldn't have kept me rambling onto this, right? But it's really like a mm, it's a reclaiming of a reality. It's a reclaiming of like gifts. It's a reclaiming of like studying those that come before you, and then really truly honoring a different paradigm. Um, yeah, there's like a massive shift happening. And it's going to be really obvious that this is your message. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. If something in this resonated with you, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. If you would like a reading or a healing, all the information is below on the website. I will never reach out to you. I have in the past, and unfortunately, scammers kill that. If you would like a healing, I do offer some of those at the beginning of every month. And yeah, be well. Ciao.